Morning, Bayers Row Baptist Church. It's good to be with you today. I sure wish I could have been with you last weekend, but this COVID-19 has certainly slowed everything down and changed things around for us. And so we get to try the new technologies and appreciate taking a few moments with me so that I can bring you up to date about what's happening with Canadian Baptist Ministries and with the support that you have been giving to your partners in mission. So I'd like to start off with an animal. It's not, you didn't support any sheep this year because we don't have sheep in our catalog, but it was the only animal I had in my office. But at least it will remind you that you did support animals. You did some great work with the chickens and the goats and the cows, and just thank you so much for taking on that stable adventure, because it makes a huge difference around the world. In the first quarter of this year, we've been able to start putting animals out into the field. We were able to do it in Africa, in India, Bolivia, the Philippines. Wherever we do ministry, we are able to do animal ministries, and it is such a handy thing because essentially it is called a bank on the hoof. Because anytime a person has a chicken or a goat or a cow, it allows the banks and it allows themselves to have income. They can use the eggs or the milk or whatever, the small animals. They are all used and sold, and that brings finances into the family, the entrepreneur, the small farmer. And so it makes a huge difference in their lives. This allows us to help with economics in the community, and allows the churches to continue to minister and to share the good love of Christ with those people around them. And so the animals, thank you so much for supporting animals this year at Christmas time. The second little thing I have here is our superheroes. The Waddell family are not necessarily the superheroes, but the Waddell family works in the Philippines. They work in Capiz province and they work at Rojas City. Part of the ministry that the Kapanyang Philippine Ministries does, KPM, is they work with hospitals and with schools. The hospital there is a Baptist hospital supported by the American Baptist, but we work in there and we also work next door at the school. Interestingly enough, at this point, they ended up having a crisis in that the healthcare workers, the nurses, the doctors, and the people cleaning and all those, when the COVID-19 hit, it basically shut down the systems, and so they put everybody into isolation like we know all around the world. The problem was the nurses and doctors and the healthcare workers were still in the hospital, so they were not able to get home. There's no transit for them to move around in, and so KPM was able to open up the school doors and say, hey, you can stay in the dorms here. And so that was a really frontline, quick ministry we were able to do to help out. In the meantime, the Waddell family continues with their ministries. Although they can't get to the field, they're in isolation as well. They are able to keep up with the local pastors and the people and what they're doing together. So some really good things happening in the Philippines, even though it's on lockdown. One of the prayers you might want to keep in mind, though, we'd ask you to pray for, is for the eldest daughter of the Waddells, and also for a person who lives with the Waddells. They both have asthma. And of course, during the COVID-19, this would be a very difficult time if they should contract that virus. So keep them in mind. The Waddells were also planning on coming home this summer, and so all plans are up in the air right now, which really puts a lot of stress on everybody. So just pray for the Waddells. If you have an opportunity, go to your Facebook site, look up Canadian Baptist Ministries. They were interviewed last week. It was an awesome interview. Keep in mind that it was 3:30 in the morning, Philippine times, when we did the interview, but it was an excellent interview and well worth watching. So please take time to pray for your partner in mission, the Waddells. Another partner in mission that you have is Jeff Carter. Now, Jeff Carter is looking ahead right now, so I have my little binoculars to sort of remind you about that. But Jeff is working with the Baptist World Alliance, and he's helping with the Congress, which was supposed to happen in 2020. It's a large gathering of our Baptist fellowship from around the world. Interestingly enough, Jeff was asked to come on board with BWA 2 years ago, and he was given a folder which was basically empty. And they said, please make sure there's something here for youth at the Baptist World Alliance Conference. And so he had to start from the ground up and form and put together a youth program and all of the facilities and stuff like that. So it was a real challenge for him. He's done well. He would have been able to do it this year, but he has to admit that since BWA Congress has been delayed until July 7 and 10 of 2021, that he has at least another year to sort of look ahead and see what he can do. But during that time, he's not only doing BWA, he continues to work with Horizons, the ministry that he helped to plant and to work on, which basically is an online training facility where he can train youth workers around the world to work with youth and children. He's in 50 different countries, 50 different countries. He's on 6 different continents. He has been working in 14 different languages, and he has, I think it's 30 new workers that are working alongside him. So the really major ministry there with youth. And you would know about this because you've been supporting Jeff for many, many years. But we just praise God for him. He's living in Berwick, Nova Scotia right now. He travels all around the world. And of course, right now he's in Berwick, Nova Scotia, like the rest of us. And so he's doing what he can and continues to reach out into the world around him. So those are 3 areas of support that you are doing. And I want to thank Bears Road for doing that. And I want to just continue to challenge you and to thank you for mission. There's so much work to be done around the world, and we can only do it with the help of churches like yours. So thank you and God bless. Please stay safe during this COVID pandemic, and we look forward to seeing you live in person sometime soon. Blessings.